Good morning, Warriors. I want to welcome you back to the high school. So great to see your faces this morning as you entered the building. Know that today was a little bit longer getting in the building due to the reaching out and giving out schedules and getting everybody situated. But we are very excited about you returning in the building. Know that we're going to kind of ease into the process as you'll learn a lot of information today. Ease into the process of getting everybody acclimated and making sure that we follow the safe distancing guidelines, keeping our mask on totally all day, and then transitioning will come later on after spring break. So we are again so excited that you're with us. We're going to give you lots of good information today that will kind of get you accustomed to being back in the building. I get it's been a year, y'all. It's been a year since you had to come in and put your phones up and follow rules and things like that are different. So let's get adjusted. We are here to help you through this. We want to keep you safe, so we're going to make sure that you follow the guidelines that are necessary so that everybody here in this building is safe and we can have a very successful last semester here at the high school. So again, reach out, ask for help as you need it. We are here to assist you. We are here to try to make you successful, and we hope you have a great day. And we're going to move on in the PowerPoint presentation. I believe Ms. Nelms, one of our counselors, 9th and 10th grade counselor, is going to come at this time.
Good morning, students. We are so happy that you are here with us today. It's just great to see your faces, like Mr. McCullough said. So I'm just going to remind you all that you can get in touch with your counselors via email. And so in the chat, I have already placed all of our names and our assignments of students. Keep in mind that I am your 9th grade counselor. So if you are in 9th grade, you are my student. 10th grade students, your counselor is Ms. De'Ara Smith, and her email is in the chat. For our 11th and 12th graders, we've had a little bit of change. Ms. Ayers is not with us this semester right now. And so the only change that will take place is the students who were Ms. Ayers' students. So if your last name starts with an A or a B and you're in the 11th grade, you will now report to Ms. Caruth as your counselor. If your last name begins with a C through G in 11th grade, you will see Mr. Allred along with his students that were already theirs. If you are in the 12th grade, for students whose last name is A through Cole in 12th grade, you will see Ms. Caruth as well. And 12th graders who are Coleman through G and Q through Z will be Mr. Allred's for now. So again, we do have that in the chat. Mr. Allred will also post that on the school website. So if you have questions, I know it's a little confusing, but just know that if you were Ms. Ayers' student, you will have a new counselor for right now. Again, if you need anything, mental health concerns, if you're having issues with the teacher, you can contact us so that we can assist you with anything that you need.
Good morning, students. This is Ms. Epps. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the rest of the information for counseling for your report cards. I am the principal on assignment here. Again, welcome back. We are glad to see you. The slide that's up now talks about grade calculations. The honors policy AP will change your GPA calculations. And the 3 points are added for honors, and dual credit adds 4 points, and AP adds 5 points to your quarter grade and exams. Honors classes are worth half a quality point more, and AP classes are worth 1 quality point above the 4-point scale. For example, an A is 4 points, an honors is 4.5, and an AP is 5. B is a 3 and a 3.5, and an AP is a 4. And next, we have our graduation requirements. You must earn 22 specific credits to graduate. 4 English, 4 math, 3 science, 3.5 social studies, that includes personal finance, and 1.5 of physical education and wellness, 2 in a world language, 1 in a fine art, and 3 electives. That includes an elective focus that has to be present as well. And next, our mission and vision. I know you've heard this all year long with our Warrior Strong. This is central. We are committed to an ethical and nurturing traditional experience, building relationships, academic excellence, and leadership. And our administrative team are as follows. We have Mr. McCullough, who you've just met, is our executive principal. I am Ms. Epps, our principal on assignment. 12th grade and vice principal is Mr. McClelland. You'll hear from him a little later. Our 11th grade assistant principal is Mr. Howard. Again, you'll hear from him a little later. Miss Blackman is our 9th and 10th grade assistant principal, and you'll hear from her a little later as well. And we have Dr. Dorian Brown, our other assistant principal, who deals with attendance and testing. And then we have Brady Benjamin, our 9th and 10th grade administrative assistant. And then Dr. Jody Higgs, our PLC coach and Title I coordinator. We have next our school-wide expectations. We will discuss our attendance policy, our dress code policy that a lot of you need to pay attention to. Today we were a little lenient because it's our first day back. Student behavior, policies and procedures, unauthorized distribution of materials and products, electronic items and usage, bullying, intimidation, harassment, and fighting. And now you'll hear from our next presenter.
Hey, good morning, everyone. This is Dr. Brown. I'm going to take just a couple of minutes and start going over the attendance policy. So pretty much, hopefully you all were accustomed to that this morning, or will get accustomed to entering on the Linden side. You will not be able to use the green doors right now. We have procedures that are in place that require everybody to enter on the Linden side. So that's the side that has all of the large steps. You'll come up those steps and go through the process. The doors will be open at 6:45 a.m. and they will be open until 7:30. After 7:30, then you will be allowed to go to the green doors on the Bellevue side, but you will have to check in pupil services. After 7:30, kids have to have a parent to get into the building. You can't just walk in. So make sure that you are here, preferably before 7:15. to make sure that you are here on time and able to get into class. But you will not be able to go directly to class after 7:30, and at 8 o'clock, then a parent will have to check you into the building. So as you all know, we are in a hybrid environment, kind of, where we have some students that are in person and some that are going virtually. So we do have some situations where a student may be in person and then you might have to be virtual for a day. That is only applicable if it is an excused absence, and that can only be done 3 times within a month. After that, then we need to meet and decide whether you need to just return to virtual altogether, because we can't have students going back and forth from in-person to virtual. So again, only if there is an excused absence reason will you be allowed to switch and go to your school from home. And again, that will only be for a few times in the month. Next slide. Okay, so we just spoke about excused absences. I do want to go ahead and review what excused absences are. This is the case of the student being ill death or serious illness in the immediate family, okay, and that's for 3 days there. Then we have student validated court appearances, recognized religious holidays or events, any other unusual cause accepted by the principal, so that's at the principal's discretion, and then anytime you are on a school-sponsored event or an activity. Please remember, and most of you are really good about this, but please remember that any notes that you have to submit for absences need to be submitted by the parent. You as a student cannot submit a note and say, please excuse my absence for whatever reason. Your parent or legal guardian has to send that note to Ms. Cole, okay, within 3 days of your return. And the address, her email address is right there on the screen. It is coleoy@scsk12.org. And I do want to stress, we do get a lot of attempted notes from students. Your parent or legal guardian has to send that note into Ms. Cole. Next. Okay, so for final exam exemptions, so we do have some criteria where attendance is a part of that criteria where you can be exempt from your class's exam. So for the semester, we are now in semester 2. So at the end of this semester, those exemptions go to all of our students. So your average of your 3rd and 4th quarter grade must be a 90 or above. Okay, so whatever you get for the 3rd and then the 4th quarter, you average those together, has to be a 90. You cannot have any unexcused absences. So if you were ill for a day, but you didn't submit a note for it to be excused, and that is showing as an unexcused absence, you will not be able to be exempt. So again, it's very important that you submit those absences, those your parent submits those excuse notes if it is a real excused absence. Also, you can have only 3 or fewer excused absences. So it's not that you can just be excused absence for, 4, 5, 10 days and think you're going to be exempt. It's not the case. It's 3 or fewer excused absences. And you cannot have any suspensions at all, not in school, not out of school. So those are the requirements to be exempt from exams. And it's, it seems far away right now, but it's so nice for those students to be able to be exempt. So try not to just live in the moment, or I'll just miss this day or that day, and then you get to the end and you can't be exempt. Do what you need to do to be exempt. Okay, you know what the requirements are for now. And again, it has where to submit your notes for your excused absence. Next. Okay, this is our bell schedule that we are running right now. Just want to go ahead and quickly remind you of that. Please make note that first period begins at 7:15. This is earlier than what we've been doing in our virtual schedule all year, so please make sure you make that adjustment. It's even more so of an adjustment if you are coming back to us in person. We're glad you're here, but please adjust your schedule accordingly. You have to get up and get yourself here on time. So make sure you're here so that you can be successful all day. It just makes the day go better if you can get here on time and get settled in and be ready for the day instead of running in late. Second period is running from 8:05 to 8:50. Then we are doing office hours right now from 8:50 to 9 o'clock. That gives everybody a little chance to get their eyes rested and to meet with a teacher if they need to. Third period is 9 o'clock to 9:45. Fourth period, 9:50 to 10:35. Okay, so this is something that's a little bit different. So you see our lunch schedule here is running from 10:40 to 11:35. We have 2 lunches. First thing I do want to point out is that students who are eating will report to the cafeteria during their lunch period that is on your schedule. If you are not eating, you should not be in the cafeteria. You should be going to the auditorium. And this is just to help us with spacing and logistics, okay? So again, you are not eating, you need to report to the auditorium during your lunch. You can see that A lunch runs from 10:40 to 11:05 and B lunch is 11:10 to 11:35. The second part of that, so if you're not in lunch, if you're in lunch A and not on B, then you'll have those announcements in office hours and vice versa. So then we're running fifth period, 11:40 to 12:25, sixth period, 12:30 to 1:15, seventh period, 1:20 to 2:05. And please note our staggered dismissal. We'll be dismissing bus riders at 2:05. walkers at 2:10, and car riders at 2:15. If you are a bus rider, please know that the bus is not going to sit around all day and wait for you. So if you are a bus rider, there's no lockers or anything that we have. So all you have to do is leave your class and go directly to the bus. The bus will be pulling off within a time frame. So make sure that you get there on time. Okay, again, so just want to reiterate again about the start times. Breakfast is served every day, beginning at 6:45 to 7:10. That cuts off at 7:10 so students can get to class on time. Students can, if you're not eating breakfast, you can go directly to class at 7 o'clock. You can see, think about it as your class beginning at 7:14. If you're not in that class at 7:15, you are considered tardy, and there are consequences for tardies that we will go over. Next slide. Okay, so for tardies, this is for tardies to school. So this is kind of like that first period tardy. So for your fifth tardy, sorry about that, your fifth tardy is an overnight suspension, which is like a parent-teacher conference. Okay, your parent will have to come up in order to clear that suspension for you. For the 10th tardy, it does turn into an overnight suspension, again, being cleared by the parent. And then that 15th tardy is additional administrative action. But please don't make a habit of being tardy to school. Just make sure you are here on time every day to school and to all of your classes. This cycle of those tardies starts every 9 weeks. But please start making those good habits now, because these things are habits that you'll have for the rest of your life, your working career. When you leave here, don't be late. Get to school on time. Next. Sorry for the delay. It's still a delay on my side. Is it the same for everyone else?
Yes, it's still delayed.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, this one says the tardiness to class, Dr. Brown.
Yes, can you go to the next one? Oh, we're on oh, great, thanks, appreciate it. Okay, so for tardies to class, so this is after you come to school and let's say you've gone to first, second, and now you're late to third. So these are your tardies to class. So the third tardy, again, is an overnight suspension. Fifth tardy is an overnight suspension, and then seventh tardy will be administrative action as well. And these cycles also start every 9 weeks. Okay, thanks. Next slide.
All right, good morning, everyone. So now we will focus on hallway transitions. So here is essential to keep everyone safe. All students will walk to the right side of the hall. We have marks on the floor with the little feet and it has the SES sign on it. So please follow those and stay to the right. When transitioning to a class that's on another floor, please abide by the direction arrows that we have posted on the doors. You will see those arrows on the door. They're big and they are in red, so you cannot miss them. Students will not be allowed to walk in crowds. This morning, I've seen a few of you guys gathering together, and we had to spread you out. So please adhere to our guidelines, and these things are only in place to make you to keep you safe. Next slide, please. So when you're transitioning through the hall after a class, you have 5 minutes. Please use this time to go to the restroom if you have to go. If you cannot make it during this time, you are to go to class, you should have your planner. Your planner will be used as your hall pass. In order to get out of class, you must have your planner that we issued you. If you did not have a planner, or if you did not get a planner during registration at the beginning of the school year when we were giving out textbooks, you had an opportunity to pick up a planner this morning, so you should have gotten one. So bring that with you every day, because that will be your hall pass in order for you to get out of class. When you're transitioning, if you go into the restroom, and I will have signs up today around the restrooms, there are only 3 students allowed in at a time. All right. Students will be allowed to use the restroom during class, like I said, so make sure you bring your planner. Next slide. Okay, like I stated earlier, on the doors, you will see this stairwell is only for up. All right, you'll see the other ones that say down. So make sure you follow our guidelines that we have in place. Like I said, this is to keep you safe. So when you're on the 3rd floor, you'll see signs that say up, and you'll see some signs that say down only. You can only go down those stairs that have the down only sign. You only come up the ones that have the up only sign, okay? Next slide. All right, so these are the areas and the stairwells that you can go. All right, stairs near AO2, and for those of you who don't know the building, we will show you today. Those are only coming down. The stairs near AO4 are only going up, and you will see the markers on the doors. Next slide. All right, in the A building, 1st floor, near the main office. Uh, 101 in Ms. Palmer's room, those stairs are only going down. 106, which is by my office and goes towards the D building, those stairs are only for going up. And when you come out and you're near the main office, those stairs are only for going down. Do not go up those stairs, please. Next slide. I'll keep going. So when we go into the 2nd floor A building, the slide isn't up, but when you get near Miss Working Room, which is 219, those stairs are only for going up. When you move around to Mr. McClellan's office in 213, those stairs are only for going down. Moving on towards Dr. Higgs' office in 208, those stairs are only for going up. And back around by Miss Holmes' room, which is 201, and Miss Moody room, which is 201, those stairs are only for going down. We will have teachers out there helping you, helping keep the flow of traffic running smoothly. So again, please adhere to our guidelines. Next slide. All right, so now we're on to the 3rd floor of the A building. Near 315, which is Mr. Coach Fortney's room and Miss McIntosh's classroom, those stairs are only coming up. Do not go, if you come out one of those classrooms, 9th graders, do not use those stairs to go down. You have to walk all the way around in Ms. Nim's office and 310 to go down. All right. The stairs near Ms. Blackman's office and Ms. Lockridge's classroom, which is 307, those stairs are for coming up. And then on around by Ms. Beasley room and Ms. Guy room, 301, those stairs are for going down. Next slide. And like I said, you will see the sign posted on the doors. All right, so we transition into the C building, the top floor of the C building, the stairs near C116, which is all the way at the end of the hall. Those stairs are only for coming up. You use the stairwell in their lobby to go down. That's in the main lobby. Those stairs are for going down. So you can transition to any part of the C building going down through the main lobby. And then lower lobby, the lower floor of the C building, near C12, that's near Mr. Wilson's room. Those back steps are only for coming up. All right, so and we'll get to that in just a second. Next slide. All right, we're gonna make our way to the D building. That's our math wing. The stairs near D111 and D112 are only for coming up. That's at the end of the hall. The stairs near D109 are only going down. So as soon as you hit the D building, if you need to go downstairs to a class, you will transition that way. Do not go to the end of the hall and try to go down. You must go down that the first stairs that you come to. And when you're at the bottom floor, the stairs near D31 are only for coming down, and the stairs near D35 and D36 are only going up. And again, you will see the signs posted on the doors. So it's a big sign. You will see those things posted. Next slide, please. All right, so when you are released from the cafeteria, you only have 2 ways to go. You will no longer be allowed to go up the stairs near the restrooms anymore. We'll have Colonel Joyner there, he will be pushing you guys towards the end of the hallway. If you're going out on the side near the choir room, you will go up those back steps to go upstairs. You must use those doors, or you can use PE2. All right, PE2. Over there where Coach Lockie is, or Coach Thornton in the class is, you guys can use that to go up. You will no longer be able to use the steps near the restrooms, okay? And we will have administrators at all these points to help guide you until you guys get used to how we're doing things. But again, this is to keep you safe. Next slide. And if you need any help, just ask me. I'll be in the hallway. You'll see me in the main lobby. I can point you in the right direction.
All right, so I want to take a moment to talk about student behavior. So pretty much there are 3 things that can sum up a lot of what we expect. First is to be where you are supposed to be. Second, do what you're supposed to do. And third, do what the adult says. And if you have any issues, see an administrator. Hope that's clear. Next slide. Okay, so hopefully everyone is familiar with this. You've seen this every day in our announcements. These are our behavior expectations here at Central. It is being warrior strong, and strong stands for being self-controlled, trustworthy, responsible, on time, neighborly, and goal-oriented. Okay, so this is our behavior matrix. So if you are confused about what any of those expectations mean in any of these areas, this will help define those for you. So for self-control, we're talking about you being able to control yourself, control your own actions. So in the cafeteria, that looks like being polite, speaking at a low conversational tone, using clean language. And you can take that all the way across that matrix. What does self-control look like in the hallway? Correctly using up and down stairs, walking to the right of the hallway and stairwells, in the classrooms, following rules, in the restroom, using the restroom for the intended purpose and waiting your turn, auditorium, sitting up in your seat. So these, you can look at each of these indicators and take those all the way across the matrix to help define that for you. We talked about being on time, neighborly. What does that mean? Cafeteria, for example, waiting your turn in line, saying please and thank you. If you notice, we also added some virtual expectations or descriptors here as well in the light blue. So we talked about being responsible, maintaining a workstation that is clear of food, drink, and clutter. We talked about being on time, which means logging in before class starts. Being neighborly, refrain from all distractions in the learning environment. And a lot of these things are still going to take place. Also around the hallway, you will also see, for those of you that are in person, our expectations regarding social distancing and mask wearing. Those are expected and should be done by everyone at all times. So again, these are our expectations. Being warrior strong, you're familiar that teachers are nominating and giving out warrior tickets to me, and then we're able to reward students each month who are showing any of these behaviors in an exceptional way. So please make sure that we maintain these behavior expectations and do what we need to do, focus on school and doing well. Next. Okay, so again, just continuing with the student behavior, everyone is expected to follow those expectations that we just defined, being warrior strong. Please note that we will not tolerate disruptive classroom behavior, especially now when we have that virtual option going on. So if you're here, we expect you to behave and do what you're supposed to do. For the third bullet, if you are written up for any offense, please know that we will follow all of the SCS Student Code of Conduct and of any progressive discipline that we deem necessary as administrators. Of any policy, they are not accepted. There's a zero tolerance for those. They're non-negotiable. If you have any questions about any of these, you can see your teacher or an administrator, but just we're here for school, here to learn, and let's do what we have to do. Do what you're supposed to do. Thank you. Next slide.
Dr. Brown, I can jump in there if you need me to. All right, my name is Carlton McClellan. I am vice principal. Mostly deal with the freshmen, with the seniors, but I can't wait to meet all of you all. So continue with student discipline and expectations. One of the big things we mentioned, we talked about dismissal. Dr. Brown started by showing the staggered dismissal schedule, where at 2:05 our bus riders will report to the bus, 2:10 walkers, and at 2:15 anyone who is picked up by car will report to the student parking lot on the Linden side. One thing I did want to point out is that at 2:10 when the walkers are dismissed, you guys have to leave campus immediately. The days of hanging around, talking to your friends are over. You should have taken care of all business with a teacher during office hours and breaks. So at that point, you guys need to go ahead and head home and get ready for virtual tutoring. We'll talk a little bit more about that later. See in the first bullet here, it says 2:30, all students must be off campus or with an adult for a supervised event. So that's our sports teams. You're with your coaches. If you have any other clubs, you're with your sponsor. By 2:30, there should be no students hanging around in the building or in a teacher's room that is not a sponsored after-school event. Like I did mention, tutoring is all virtual now. So again, when you get to the house, when you get to 2:30, log on via Microsoft Teams. All tutoring is virtual, not here in the building. Mr. Howard mentioned hall passes. So once again, there are no exceptions. There should not be any students in the hall without a written pass. Today, we are working with you to write out hall passes if you don't have your agenda books. But from now on, you must have those agenda books or you cannot get a hall pass at any moment, all right? And lastly is the parking lot. If you need a parking pass, you will see Ms. Wooten or Ms. Brown in Pupil Services to get a parking pass if you drive to school. Next slide, please. All right. So parking is a privilege here at Central. So those of you who drive recklessly, who don't park between two marked lines in a legal spot, park in a teacher parking lot. Any of these violations can have your parking privileges revoked. I want to go ahead and point out reckless driving again. If we have to pull you off of any lane, we do have sheriff's deputies here. They can also raise to the level of a citation of some sort. So make sure that you're being responsible on the parking lot. Speaking of on the parking lot, we cannot leave campus without permission. That's walking out by a parent. Parent must physically come to the pupil services and check you out for any reason. You can't just go, your parents can't pull up in the parking lot and say, hey, I'm outside, come out. Nothing of that nature. Everybody must be signed in and signed out if you have to check out after you arrive at campus. This also includes food. You can't walk up to the restaurant and get you something during lunch. You can't have Uber Eats bring something to the school or any kind of deliveries of any kind. This also does include parents. Yes, you can bring food from home. Yes, you can bring food from home, but that food needs to come with you in the mornings. Come with you in the morning and you can eat that at lunch. All right, so no outside food is allowed. Next slide. So let's say that, you know, we put a lot of expectations out there. You guys are transitioning. You do get to the point where you are suspended. That's something the administrator meets with you, you are warranted suspension. Suspension is not a suggestion. It is not, if you feel like you didn't do that or feel like you're not guilty, you can go ahead and come in the class like nothing happened. If you are suspended, which states that you cannot be on campus for certain dates, and you do come to campus, you are trespassing. Your parent must come back on the clear suspension date with you, 6:45 in the main lobby, and we can clear that suspension. If for some reason your parent cannot come that day, they need to call an administrator or email an administrator to set an appointment. But you cannot come. Trespassing is another disciplinary offense. You can be suspended for a longer time or have to see the deputies for other consequences. In-school suspension is also the same. It's not a suggestion. You can't come when you feel like it. You can't come at 9 o'clock. It's a regular school day. Your location has just been assigned to in-school suspension with Ms. Tillman. You will meet in all your classes via Microsoft Teams and complete all of your assignments in that one room. And then when your time is over, you will be able to go back to class. This is, of course, when we go back to class. Only other thing I want to mention here is if you have cell phones or electronic devices, you must surrender those when you enter ISS. Ms. Tillman is going to lock those up in her file cabinet, and you will get those back whenever you leave ISS, whether it's later that day or after a period, whatever time the administrator assigns you to ISS. All right, speaking of electronic items, so again, we can start with the list at the bottom. So that is earbuds, AirPods, the cell phone itself, any kind of tablet that is not approved by an administrator, and even your smartwatches. It cannot be used during the school day, 6:45 until the moment you leave this campus. Put them up, turn them off, and put them in your bag. There's a telephone in every classroom. If your parent needs to reach you or an emergency happens, we can come find you. If you have an emergency, then you will go to the office and make those calls with your hall pass. But it's not okay, never okay. I'm texting my mom, texting my pastor, my coach, my college coach. None of these reasons supersede the school's electronic item policy. Put them up, turn them off, put them up all day long. Did I say turn them off and put them up? Turn them off and put them up. Now, if a teacher or an administrator sees your electronic device in use, we will confiscate that. You will not be able to get that back until the next school day, and we also have to meet with a parent for you to get that back. Once again, if your phone or an electronic device is confiscated, an administrator will keep that until the next school day, and you have to meet with a parent to get that back. So, bullying, intimidation, and harassment. This is definitely an area that there's a new focus in the last few years. So we make sure that we have to keep ourselves, we're doing the right things, so that if conflicts do arise, then we're either not considered a bully, or that we know that we're on the right side of the situation if we need to call attention to a bullying situation. Next slide, please. So do want to sit here and we do want to define the difference between bullying and a conflict. The way it really boils down is if you guys are going back and forth, then that's a mutual conflict. So you can't, talk on the cell phone, text messages, social media. You guys are talking about each other, making all types of threats. And then when that person gets a good one in, you can't come in and claim bullying. All right. So the big thing here is do not respond. Okay. Don't respond. Now, if somebody is sending harassing or bullying type messages to you, making comments that are unwarranted, then you bring that to our attention, because that shows what we call an imbalance of power. All right. So that is one person coming after another. That's bullying. Now, again, if you go back with that person, that puts another dynamic into the situation, and that does warrant further investigation. But make sure that you are not responding. Make sure that you can bring any information that is sent to you or said about you to an administrator. We will investigate every situation each and every time, so don't feel like you should not bring it to the attention of an adult in a building. But we do want to point out, make sure that you're not the one that's going back and forth, because when we call that person in who you've accused of bullying, they're going to show us all the messages and tell us all the things that you said as well. So like Dr. Brown said earlier, be in the right place doing the right things. Next slide, please. All right. So once again, any student who feels like they are being bullied or has knowledge of a bullying situation, please point that out to an administrator immediately. If you can't get to an administrator, let your teacher know, and your teacher will inform administrator. This is a very serious offense, and this is zero tolerance. It can arise to legal action from our Shelby County Sheriff's deputies. It can also rise to the level of expulsion. So definitely let us know 100% at the first mention or the first sight of bullying, so that we can investigate and take it to the next level. This does include cyberbullying and in-person text messages, so on and so forth.
Good morning. I am Ms. Blackman. I'm your 9th and 10th grade administrator. I have the pleasure of talking to you about dress code. So starting with the no sagging of pants, any headgear that you think you would like to wear, that must be approved by the administrator. No tights, jeggings, leggings, spandex material of any such can be worn. No holes, rips, or tears in your clothing. Skirts, dresses, and shorts must be no shorter than 4 inches above the knee, which includes the side and the back. Shirts, blouses, and dresses must have sleeves and must completely cover your abdomen, back, and shoulders. So it's getting warm, so the cute little spaghetti dresses with the little straps, you have to have a cover to cover your shoulder. Of course, your stomach cannot be out. We talked about all of that this morning. So please, you will have this week to get adjusted. We will simply be having a conversation, but after this week, you will receive a dress code violation. Next. Okay, seating charts. This morning, when you walked through the door, you were scanned and you were either asked if you were going to eat, and if not, you were going to go to the auditorium. If you did decide that you were going to eat, you went to the cafeteria, you selected a table. That is your assigned table for the morning during breakfast. You will sit there for the remainder of the time. Every morning you are to sign the little sheet that's on the table indicating that you were there and present that morning for breakfast. In the auditorium, when you went to the auditorium, you were given a label. With that label, you were able to place it on a chair, and that is your chair for the rest of the time. Again, those seats are your seats for the morning. And during lunchtime, once you come to the cafeteria, the same process will happen again. You will select the table for lunch, and that will be your table that you sit at for the duration. Once you get to the table, you will sign the sheet indicating that you are at that table. Again, if you decide not to eat, you will have to report to the auditorium. There will be an administrator there giving you a label, and you will select your seat and you will have a seat there. That's the cafeteria and auditorium. In your classroom, you will have assigned seating. Once you enter the classroom, the teacher will assign you a seat, and that's where you are to sit for the remainder of the year. That's your seat. Now, if at any point in time the teacher will have to remove you from that seat, that's not going to be a good thing, because we are not expecting any discipline problems whatsoever this school year, because we're all about the business of being a warrior. Okay, so next slide. All right, the good thing about Central High School is that we are here to prepare you for college or a technical school or the job market outside of Central High. So it is extremely important that you pay attention to the next couple of slides. Not that the other slides were not important, but the slides coming up are pertaining to your particular grade level. Okay? Next. All right, freshmen, I hope you're listening. It is great to have you in the building. Coach Ben and I are super excited, as well as the teachers up here on the 3rd floor. The goal of you is to ensure that you are graduation bound. So you have to stay on top of your schoolwork. You have to maintain focus. That means that, you know, we're no longer in middle school. We are now in high school. So we have to act like we're in high school. You also must pass 5 classes. That includes English 1 in order to be classified as a sophomore. Well, you know what? After reviewing some of those report cards, some of us got a lot of work to do. So we have to make sure that we are focused and we are paying attention, and we are going to Wow Wednesday, and we're getting all the extra help that we need to ensure that we're going to pass English 1 as well as the other classes. If at any point in time you need some assistance, please do not be afraid to ask your teacher or your administrator, or Miss Nams is also up here on the 3rd floor with us. So we are here to provide you with all the support that you need to be successful and have a solid foundation for your freshman year. Please note that your freshman year is extremely important, because this starts your grade point average, which is your GPA. All right, next slide. There's a delay. There we go, sophomore class. Look at there. Look at that map. Look at all of those colleges as well as my freshman class. So here is where you're deciding, hey, I've looked at some colleges and I think I might want to go to Nebraska, or I might want to go to Stanford. But in order for those things to happen, I have got to be about the business of ensuring that I keep that strong GPA that I got from my freshman year. So it is extremely important that you focus on practicing for the ACT, that you take the PSAT, that you ensure that you pass English 2, because you must have 11 credits to be classified as a junior. So again, Ms. Smith is your counselor, as well as myself and Coach Ben or your administrator. We are truly here to provide you with the support that you need in order to be successful your sophomore year and to be prepared for that junior year. Next slide, please. There's a delay. Okay, so the next slide says 9th and 10th grade. We have freshman and sophomore night where you will be able to get additional information about all of this, where we're going to provide to assist you in developing your 4-year plan and making sure that it is strong. Well, of course, if it's your sophomore year, then that means you only have 2 more years. But here, we are here to assist you in making sure that you select the right classes, that you get the support you need. So we're inviting you guys out on next Thursday, March 18th at 6:00 p.m. We're going to send the link to the Teams meeting to your parents' email. So go ahead, write that down. You guys got your agenda books today. So go ahead and take it down and remind your parents that it will be in your email. We look forward to seeing you there. You guys stay strong, and we are here to support you. Have a great day.
All right, junior class, welcome back. For those of you who are in the building, glad to see you guys coming in the building and things like that. I mean, it made me excited to see that we actually having school. So guys, I'm just trying here to give you a little information. It's time to switch your focus to post-secondary opportunities. So start thinking about those colleges that you want to attend. Get with your counselor and start setting up visits. We have a lot of virtual visits coming up also. So start thinking about where you want to go. The main thing is focusing on your GPA, making sure we have a strong GPA. ACT is coming. If you didn't make the last ACT date that we have one March 16th. So please sign up for this makeup date. This is very important. Prepare for your 10 ready EOC. We have that in April. At the end of April and beginning of May, those tests are coming. All right, make sure you have the necessary credits you need to move on to be a senior. You need at least 16 credits to be classified as a senior, including passing English 3. So let's make sure we have that or have those things in order. If you play sports, get with your guidance counselor, ask them about the NCAA clearinghouse, NCAA and NAIA clearinghouse. So both of those programs or organizations, you have to go through the clearinghouse to be cleared to play sports at the next level. So let's start thinking about those things. And the main thing is, guys, let's take that ACT. We had low numbers on our last ACT testing date, so let's increase those numbers. And I think we had about 150 students come test Mr. McClellan last time. So let's increase that, guys. So get with your guidance counselor, sign up for the ACT, and let's start thinking about those post-secondary opportunities. Thank you.
And seniors, I apologize we aren't able to be together in the auditorium right now because, I like to talk to you guys real and not pull any punches. But so first, I'll start off by thanking you guys for coming back into the building. I'm gonna go ahead and assume that everybody who decided to be an in-person student is here because they know they have a lot of work to do and they're here to be serious about their work. So we shouldn't be dealing with things like discipline and class cutting, anything of that nature, because if you came here for the rest of this semester, and I know you're here and you have a different type of focus that we will see, a different type of resolve. Number one, of course, is attendance. You chose to be here. Let's be here every day. You cannot pass if you don't go to class. Make sure that you have what you need with your laptop and things of that nature. When we do We are excited about some opportunities that can come up when we start talking about things like prom, senior picnic. All of those things are tentative at this point, but they are on the calendar. So we must prepare ourselves as such. So make sure that you're in that list to be on course for graduation. Don't have any discipline issues that can put things like activities like prom and senior picnic into question. Make this semester your best semester. You still have time to raise your GPA, prepare for ACT, and increase your possibility for your post-secondary opportunities. Lead the way for the young people with small things like dress code, being on time, having your agenda book for your hall passes, going to the cafeteria, and cleaning up after yourselves. So they're going to act how you act. I'm telling you now, they're going to mimic the same behavior that you do. So if you do the right things, then they're going to do the right things and show that true warrior pride. Next thing, we want to make sure that we get those ACT scores back in so that we can get you on the ACE squared board. College acceptances and scholarships, please email those to your counselor so that we can have that information published and talk about all the good things that you're doing. Next slide, please. So we have an abbreviated version of the information we talked about in our senior class meeting. This information was also emailed to your parents. So this is the link that we sign up for paying senior dues. That window opens in about 2 weeks. You can sign up now, and we'll start taking senior dues payments in a couple of weeks. We'll make sure that you have the appointment that you need to make sure that you can come in and pay those senior dues. So we have our dates here: May 15th, senior picnic, 15th is prom. Of course, all those things are tentative with our situation with our pandemic. So, and then you got the big thing here, June 2nd. So that could be your last day of high school. If you've done what Dr. Brown says, if you have that 90 for your average of third and fourth quarter grades, you have 3 or fewer excused absences. And you can be exempt from your senior exams in June 2nd. You won't have to log in any more teams classes. And we'll be looking forward to getting that diploma and going on to what's next. But you have to be exempt. Otherwise, if you're not, you'll be on the 3rd and 4th for your senior exams. And then we also see our dates here for graduation and graduation practice. Remember, it is at 10 o'clock at the Renaissance Center, which is formerly the Cook Convention Center. You must be there by 9. Don't show up at 9. You have to be there before 9 o'clock. All right. So seniors, we're here to be serious. I expect you to be that way. If you need any help, let me or your counselors know, and we will lead the way and show true warrior pride. I'll go ahead and jump here as well. I think Coach Benjamin was having trouble getting on, Miss Epps. So, here are some of the, if you guys are interested in extracurricular activities and sports, they are starting now with practice and conditioning. We do have some tentative dates for competition. So these are a go. So make sure that you've contacted these coaches and express your interest so that they can keep you involved with getting your physical done, completing your consent forms, and what they're doing and when they're practicing. So Coach Salter's soccer, Coach Benjamin's baseball, softball is Coach Hannibal, track and field boys and girls is Coach Haynes, tennis boys and girls Coach Cochran. All right, Ms. Epps, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Mr. McClellan. I appreciate it. I want to end with just a few things while the next slide is coming up. This is a reminder that we are still learning on Teams, so every student that is in person needs to bring their laptop fully charged every morning. So charge it up overnight, and then when you bring it here the next morning, you won't have to charge it for a while. So let's make sure that those computers come with you every day, your charging cords come with you every day, and that they are fully charged. You're seeing a link here to our website as well as to the Shelby County Schools website. If you have any questions about things that are going on around the school or around the district, this is the place you would go to find those out. We are keeping the websites up pretty regularly. You'll see the most recent stuff on Central's website up there now as well. And again, thank you all for coming back. We're glad you're here. At this time, your first period teacher will email you a survey link with a few questions for things that we need to know today for lunch and dismissal and things like that. So you'll be getting that email from them soon. Teachers, if you have not done the warm body count survey, please make sure and do that as now. and email that link to the students. All right, that's the end of our presentation for today, and you'll get more information as it becomes available. Thank you for coming back.